Hey guys, this is Houston Curtis, and today I'm bringing you a special video, no frills or whatever. Last night I received some very sad news. A while back in the Magic community, we lost Ricky J, who was, just a one-of-a-kind guy in the Magic world. Same thing happened in the poker world last night. We lost the ambassador of poker, Mike Sexton. And I write about this in my card player article. I was sitting at home in the evening, and I received a text from former World Series of Poker champion Russ Hamilton, and I'll read it to you. It said, "Mike Sexton passed away. He always had a smile. Never said anything bad about anyone. Really good guy. He always thought poker would be big." And for some reason that just really resonated with me and hit me because Mike Sexton was a guy who loved poker's past, but was even more excited about its future. So in this video, I just want to share some emails back and forth between Mike and I. We played in a lot of high-stakes games together in Los Angeles and had some great times. So when my book came out, $1 Billion Hollywood Heist, Mike was naturally curious and wanted to read it. And he had called me one day and said he'd ordered it, but it hadn't shown up. And he called me a week later. He said, "I just ordered another copy. It still hasn't shown up." And I was wondering, what's the hurry, Mike? But I sent him a PDF so he could read a digital copy because he didn't want to wait for the hardback. I didn't know then that he had stage 4 cancer and it had spread throughout his liver. This guy was, he was dying and he still wanted to read poker stories, So anyway, he was very cool about giving me a wonderful quote for the book, and he enjoyed reading it. And I'm going to share with you right now some of the back and forth emails that Mike and I shared leading up to the final words that I had with him before he passed away. Okay, this is me going back and forth with Mike Sexton via email. Here we go. "Hi, Houston. I appreciated you sending me a copy of $1 Billion Hollywood Heist because I know all the players in the book. Naturally, I really enjoyed it. Finished it in less than a day. Couldn't stop reading. I'll say one thing. You hit the nail on the head regarding the players in terms of how they play and their personalities. I noticed you never mentioned Big Al in the book, which puzzled me a little because he was a big part of LA high-stakes poker back in the day. I know him, Gabe, Scum, and Chuck won tons of money playing with Andy Beal, and all taking a piece of whoever played him. I doubt Beal started playing No Limit Hold'em until Molly headed to New York. Maybe he started after you stopped playing." And here Mike busts my chops a little bit. "You won't win any points with anyone for not being a rat when you knew they were trying to put in marked cards in Alex's game. You say throughout the book that those players were friends of yours, yet you were going to allow them to walk in to the slaughterhouse. That won't sit well with most, me included," which he got wrong, and I correct him in the next email. "What people also won't understand is that when you were at the max bottom with health problems as well as financial problems, is why didn't you go to Toby and get 100 or 200K? After all, you were close, and you and him did scheme together and fleece the live ones, which you did beautifully and made millions doing it. You never mention in the book that you had a big falling out with him or anything, so it would only seem natural that he would want to help you. You said he gave Casey Thompson back $1 million, which I find very hard to believe, so how could he not help you when you needed help the most? These were just my original thoughts after reading the book. Thanks again for sending it, Mike." There was never a falling out with Toby. Like many relationships in Hollywood, sometimes things just simply fade away. I hear from Scum probably the most out of all the guys from the game, and he loved the book. All the stuff with Casey was true about him going to meet Toby. Big Al was definitely an oversight. So much to write about, and Al made the game really fun. Plus, I made a $100K weight loss bet with him that he eventually bought out for $10K. That would have been a fun story. From Mike Sexton. Houston, thanks for the mail and answering some questions. I really did enjoy the book, even though it saddened me to hear of all your health problems and financial woes. I'm guessing, though, that a number of people, those who play and run in games in LA, will not be happy with you, as it could scare many fish businessmen away from playing. Incidentally, I would never put Bosco in the category of fish. I always thought that he was the sharpest in the group and he knew what was going on. In my eyes, he was the coolest guy and a very good poker player who never showed his hand or never moaned about losing a pot. He used to hustle golf. Doyle told me he was Jack Strauss's man. Then he married the richest lady in Beverly Hills, and I heard he traveled the world for a few years after she died and now lives in a penthouse suite in some hotel in Miami Beach. Sounds about right. FYI, I was the guy who brought Alec Gores into the LA poker games. Card Player magazine called me one day and asked me if I taught lessons. They said some rich guy from Beverly Hills was looking for some. I said no, I didn't, but was in LA a lot, and we did voiceover for the World Poker Tour there, and I'd be happy to stop by and have lunch with this guy the following Monday. I didn't know who it was. I didn't Google him, nothing. Just went to the address they gave me on Monday. I went to his office, the top floor on Wilshire Boulevard, and was wowed at how big it was. His secretary escorted me back to his private office, and he was playing 1-2 blind no limit hold'em on Poker Stars. He was like a little kid at Christmas and wanted me to watch him play. Hand comes up where he raises $10 with ace-8 off, and a guy re-raises to $40 and he calls. Flop is ace-7 deuce, and Alec gets all excited and bets out $100, and the guy moves all in for $540. Alex says, what do we do? What do we do? And I said, if you don't like money, call. He has ace-king or ace-queen for sure. He said he wanted to call just to see what he had. Of course, the guy had ace-king, like any 5-year-old would know. He didn't care that he lost. He only cared that I knew exactly what the guy had. We ordered lunch, and I was there 2 hours or so. I mentioned on Monday nights we had a 5K buy-in game at the Havana Club where me, Vince, Ben Affleck, Toby, James Woods, and a couple of other guys were playing. This is a game that I actually played at when he wasn't there. So oddly, we missed each other at this game. I mentioned I had met a rich guy for lunch who liked to play in our game. Bosco said, who is it? I said, Alec Gores. Bosco almost jumped out of his seat and said, Alec Gores, the billionaire? I said, I didn't know how much money he had, but he sure had a nice office. Alec came the following Monday, and the rest is history. He and I became friendly as I was always trying to help him, whether other guys like Rick Chase and Toby were always trying to hustle him to other games. This is why I was invited to the big game when they were at Alec's house, and why he staked me in the one drop. After the Bad Brad fiasco, he was distressed over it all, and that ended games for a while. He started playing Andy Beal heads up, and I never played in the big games again. It was fun while it lasted, though. As you know, there will never be games like those again in poker history. Good luck with book sales, a movie, TV series, or whatever else you venture into. Mike. It wasn't long after this set of emails that I found out that Mike had stage 4 liver cancer. Obviously, I reached out to him as a friend. This would end up being my last words with Mike Sexton. Mike, it's Houston. Is the rumor true? I heard you have stage 4 cancer. My heart is breaking for you, brother. Well, not quite sure if it's stage 4 liver cancer. Had prostate cancer 4.5 years ago. Took 8 weeks of radiation, and all was good for the next 4 years. Last PET scan showed it's come back in liver, so I'm battling it. Hope I can draw out. Thanks for the concern. And I said, may the river be kind, my friend. You can beat it. And then he gave me a thumbs up. Mike Sexton was a gentleman and a friend and just an all-around good guy. He would bring pictures of his son every time he came to a game. His son Ty, he was so proud of him. We're all going to miss you, Mike. Godspeed, and we'll see you on the other side of the flop.